Hello, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Camera with AndyGames. This is the podcast where I interview streamers and content creators with the sole purpose of getting to know the person a little bit better behind the camera. Today is a very special episode of Behind the Camera, as not only is this a midweek episode, but also our guest today is Joe Sotilli from the TikTok agency Diffraction. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to appear on
Oh,
Behind
those
the
got
Camera.
blurred out. Those are peace signs. Those are peace signs.
Brilliant. Yes. How are you doing today? It's lovely to have you on Behind the Camera.
Amazing. It's a beautiful, shiny day, middle of the week, and I get to talk to Andy.
I absolutely love to hear that. Love to hear that. So we'll just get right into it. The format, just a few questions. We'll just have a bit of a conversation and get to know you a little bit better as both a person and as the co-founder of Diffraction. So, first of all, tell us a little bit about Diffraction. What was like its origins, how you got into the position you did with it, and then your work and relationship with TikTok.
hmm Um, so yeah, diffraction by definition is how a wave moves around an obstacle powerfully. So it is within our name to move around obstacles powerfully. And what diffraction is a short form influencer marketing agency as well as a TikTok agency. So we both work on the live side with TikTok as well as the shop side. And we're also working with the studio team to develop different shows on TikTok, either live or episodic content. Outside of the TikTok realm, in the influence marketing realm, we do end-to-end full service campaign management for some top brands like Factor, HelloFresh, Morgan and Morgan, you name it in the tech industry, you name it in gaming peripherals, as well as helping talent adjust to creating content for a partner. So yeah, we do quite a bit. There's quite a bit of obstacles that come up in content creation as a creator yourself, you know. So we've invested quite heavily into creating tools and resources such as our TikTok Live program to help other creators make waves. Um, yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And what I love about that is the fact that so from my background being a gamer and that being my sort of niche for streaming, like most people I know from Diffraction are gamers, but from everything you've just said, like it goes out so much further than that, like into just all forms of short-term content and, as you say, episodic things. And I think that's incredible. And like I wonder if that's something that a lot of people know about Diffraction. So hopefully, those listening, that kind of just kind of open it up in terms of their knowledge about it and like what they really are a part of, or for those who could be aspiring creators of what they could be joining. So that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole reason that we built the TikTok Live program and kind of started working with them too is because on the influencer marketing side, while we're creating campaigns, we're working with a lot of creators that are successful. People like the Linus Media Group and Linus Tech Tips. We've run quite a few campaigns this year. That last year, the start of my career with Linus and crew. Amazing content, amazing production to the T, get everything done ahead of time. They're awesome partners to work with. Brands love working with them. And then we also work with the flip side, brand new creators or creators that are getting quite a bit of viewership, but then you run a campaign with them and it's like, they don't have a community that's really supportive of them. They don't have a community that wants to be engaged in the things that they're doing, or more often than not, they don't know how to create content for a brand because they've never created before. It's like they've gotten lucky. So, one of the reasons that we've created the TikTok Live program is to kind of solve that from the ground up, where we're teaching creators from the beginning those best practices of being a creator, creating long term success, and then most specifically, TikTok is one of the easiest places to create a community of like-minded, supportive individuals. So that's why we're kind of starting with TikTok and building these communities because we know how much of a power it is to have people that believe in you.
Yeah.
Take that over to Twitch, take that over to Kick, take that over to YouTube. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. You need to have a core amount of people that support you to begin. So TikTok Live and TikTok is one of the easiest places to find like-minded individuals because of the algorithm and the features that they have set up. So created this whole program to drive creators and creating community, and we've already had our first Oh, wow, it's up to 5 this month.
Oh wow.
5 creators that have
Yeah.
successfully created, enough sustainable income and enough community to quit their full-time jobs, become a full-time streamer, full-time creator, and are signing exclusive contracts with Diffraction to take the next step into sponsorships and partnerships because they are ready.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing is for months it's like, hey, 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 hold on. Let's go another month. Let's see what the growth looks like. Let's see what the community looks
Yeah.
like before you make any hasty decisions. So that's another thing is like quitting your job does not make you a full-time creator.
For
It forces
sure.
full-time creator. It doesn't mean it's a full-time career yet. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, like I particularly like your point about the discoverability on TikTok. Like TikTok, I think I know a lot of people who have started out their creation journey, their streaming journey on TikTok solely for its discoverability. And I know like a lot of people, like notably Certi, starting out with you guys, and I think he has like gone on to do some amazing things. Like the level of that creativity that that guy has, and Diffraction can certainly be thanked for that because like his content fits the bill. If it's just him, he's being himself and he's doing things right. He's and it's great. I can definitely see him particularly going on to big things, and like the fact as well there's like the idea of expansion going over to like different platforms. Like that's I think that's a great thing as well. Like but TikTok I do agree is a incredibly good place to get that sort of core viewership to build your core community solely from like a short form content type of thing. And one thing that I particularly like about Diffraction is the fact that you could have people, it's like you say, there are people who like they get great viewership, they're good streamers, for example, but they've never done content. They've never done like particularly branded content. And you do get that sometimes that does show when you're scrolling through your FYP. It does show sometimes you do see that with some people. Like it's sort of almost very wooden, for example. It doesn't look natural or anything like that. So like and that's definitely obviously the tools are there to allow that to make things more natural to like do have brand deals based on things that you know you believe in, something that is like relevant to you. So that is good. Like it does kind of I think it fills the entire circle of content creation in terms of streaming and the actual content you're putting out. Like there's absolutely no limit to it. That is yeah incredible. You know I've only been in Diffraction for a short period of time, but I already love what you guys do and I'm very excited to be a part of
Yeah. I mean, TikTok, I like to think of it as like the gulag when you first start out in
it.
content or you're an established creator because at the end of the day, it teaches you quite a bit about how your content is. And what one of the many reasons that I like creators starting on TikTok or you're an established creator and you know you're struggling, you know, you've hit in your plateau
Hmm.
where a lot of people are right now, hopping onto TikTok because it teaches you my identity, my creator identity. What's
Yeah.
the content that I'm pumping out? What is my value when people are sitting around in my stream? Like, I want 1,000 people watching my stream for an hour. Well, why is their time yours? What's the
Yeah.
value that you're bringing them? Is it you're sitting there playing a video game, not talking to them for an hour? Because hey, I'm gonna stop everyone right there. If you're not number one in the world on a game, that doesn't work.
I totally
Um,
agree. Totally agree.
it doesn't work. I'm just it's just gonna put it out there. You know, if you post a gaming clip and it's literally just the headshot in Fortnite, you're not in 200 view jail. It's just there's 100 million plus out there of that same video in different
Yeah.
styles. So TikTok, it just teaches you, yes, there's an algorithm that, you know, produces for you page stuff, but everything comes down to audience, audience, audience. Does
Yes.
the audience enjoy what you're doing? Do you enjoy what you're doing? Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you know, the 170 plus million Americans in the United States are going to look at that content and either swipe or comment, hey, feel like you don't actually care about this, or hey, are you regurgitating information, Mr. Social Media Guru? So it's a very bare bones, very raw platform that's still emerging in terms of other platforms and the features that are being produced. But a lot of the issues that creators run into is just misinformation or misguidance.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like the platform prints community, the platform prints viewership. So if you know how the engagements work, if you know how the features are working, but more specifically, how to create content, then the platform is amazing. And
Yeah.
that's what we're teaching is not necessarily well, yes, all of the like the bits and pieces of how TikTok works, but the majority of our conversations with creators are around their identity and always bringing that identity back. So you brought up Sir T. Sir T went through an entire like creator brand redo.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, like, obviously came from Mario 64, still loves Mario 64, it's a big part of him, but through our conversations, through the program, he realized that he was creating content to fit a bill rather than creating content that
Yeah.
he loved. And over the past month, he's just been exploding with new types of segments, new types of streams coming out, new types of videos. And every single time he posts, it's like the coolest thing. I'll get a message from Sir T in his coaching channel of like, oh my gosh, this is the new one. Like, why is it doing so well? And it's like a perfectly constructed FOMO piece, or it's like a funny take on like engagement bait. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my joy in creating this program is seeing those aha moments when creators realize, wait a second, I can enjoy what I'm doing and other people will enjoy it. That is it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that as well. Like it's definitely something that, you know, breeds positivity, creativity, and like everything kind of in between of that. So let's go even further back pre-diffraction days, and let's talk a little bit about your own personal background in regards to social media, media itself, and I guess like in this space, especially in marketing, like what's your own like personal background in sort of what led you to become into like diffraction?
Yeah, sure. So the road was long, but taught me quite a bit, in terms of, again, hopping onto a platform like TikTok and realizing, wait a second, my identity is not matching what I love. That's kind of where my career history came from.
Yeah.
So graduated sport management, pre-pandemic. Pandemic hit, shut down sports. So luckily, I was in an internship with the lovely Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, the third most dangerous auto sports race in the
Oh,
world. You
wow.
can look them up. Tons of great videos, tons of great media coming from there. But it's essentially an auto race up a 14,000-foot mountain with mountain roads, cliffs right off the edge, and these people are hitting 200 miles on straightaways up a mountain. So had the pleasure of working with them for my internship and then being hired on as an event manager. Um, kind of networked in as I was working for one of the national governing bodies for the US Olympics, karate. And yeah, was working with them. Quickly realized as I was talking to like racers, and I hosted my own podcast called Mastering the Mountain.
Oh, brilliant.
Um, in turn 156, where we did episodic content and taught people with like people who've won the race how to like actually race it and like their whole thoughts around the race and what they were doing during that race, as well as more of a podcast format where we would bring on guests and
Yeah.
do something like this, you know,
Yeah.
tell me your story, tell me a little bit more about you and stuff like that. And through all those connections, I quickly realized there's a lot of sponsorship dollars in auto race.
Yeah.
And these guys didn't have social media. It was like, hey, go race that race with our name on your car. Win the race. Get us some branded impressions. um, and I was like, wait a second, how much are they pay? How many zeros are after that number? And that's what you gotta do? Are you kidding me? So quickly I was like, all right, we gotta get these people some brand value. What are we doing on social media? So quickly realized like, hey, there's something here where there is this population of people that are missing out on dollars, and there's brands over here that are missing out on activations with people that organically use their
Yeah.
products. So um quickly looked up influencer marketing. I was like, oh, there's entire agencies that do this. Crazy. I'm gonna start my own. um so I started reaching out to like a bunch of YouTubers and stuff that I was working with, and their agencies started responding to me, and one hired me on. Started quickly getting into like YouTube sponsorships. A lot of my earlier ones um, were kind of rough around the edges, in terms of I didn't exactly know the right processes to follow.
Yeah,
But luckily, I was in an agency that taught me all like how things worked, and it wasn't me doing it by myself. There was an entire company behind it. So through that, it allowed me to like flourish as a salesman and as an influencer marketer, starting to learn everything. Made some of my best connections in the industry. I mean, Linus Media Group hasn't left my side since coming
brilliant.
in,
Yeah,
so
amazing.
didn't screw up too bad in the beginning, which is always good to hear. Fast forward like 2 years, when you're around content creation long enough and influencer marketing long enough, and you're talking to enough people, there's this underlying parasitic relationship that there's a lot of companies out there that don't care about creators, don't care
Yeah,
about brands, don't care about producing good things. It's just parasitic. How can I get money out of you?
100%.
How can you be a number in my database and then money signs come out of it? I don't like that. I don't think
No,
that's
of
fair.
course.
I don't think you should work with anyone like that. Come work with Andy, come work with Diffraction, come work with anyone that like can get on a call or come see you in person and like actually connect with you and want to provide value. There's no reason to be a number on someone's docket. And don't sell your soul for these like stream keys for game clips and oh like yeah, I'll pay you to play your game early. No, 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 no.
No.
Develop true relationships with people. But it quickly taught me through seeing a lot of like the negative sides of influencer marketing, and even in my own company that I was at the time, where a lot of my creators that I was working with were being affected by it. I was like, no, that doesn't belong in this industry. 100%. Well, I think I froze.
No, no, we're still good. We're still good.
We're good.
Yeah, yeah.
100% that doesn't belong in the industry. And I started talking with a bunch of other influencer managers where it was like, yeah, no, we also don't stand for that. And I kind of found the right side of influencer marketing that was creator focused,
Yeah.
was brand focused in producing performance. And that's where Diffraction came. Diffraction was born out of necessity to move around obstacles powerfully.
Yeah, and that's incredible. That is an incredible journey. Especially because Diffraction came about based on like, okay, if you want content to be organic, we want to make these organic relationships based on things you believe in and you being true to yourself, because it is very much as you say, like there are a lot of parasitic relationships, and you see that from both sides, I think, of the coin. So you see like a lot of companies who, you like you say, they do not care about content, they do not care about how it's done. They just care about having a big name, using their name in a video because they know what their video attracts and they just want a slice of the pie, as it were. And on the other side, I have seen a lot of creators who their sole content is based around TikTok Shop, but it's the whole kind of, oh, someone at TikTok Shop's getting fired for this, or they're basically, you can see right through them, is really the
Yeah,
whole thing. It's like they're,
QVC.
yeah, they're promoting the same video every single time but with a different product, and it's just like, you're a bad actor. Like, I get you're getting paid for this, but my god, like, be convinced and sell it to me. Like, it's just and yeah, I mean,
Then,
but that's
but
just the
like
evils of social media sometimes.
to piggyback off like the shop stuff, then that opens the door like all of those like really bad videos that again, we're talking about a population of creators on TikTok shop that don't have training. They're
Yeah,
not content creators. They have unlocked a feature, see a whole bunch of other people make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month off a sale, go, "Oh, I can do that." Throw on the influencer accident with like just copying someone else's video, and then that's what's flooded on TikTok shop. But it then leaves the door open for like that Midwestern, middle of America person that like understands that that's not good content and then parodies it.
yeah.
And that's the person that gets hundreds of thousands of sales. And then the cycle restarts.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
the funny thing is like those parodies of it are doing really well. The actors that understand what's the current environment are getting that success and then opening the doors up to, okay, now that I've had success, let me seek elevating my content.
yes,
And that's kind of the nice thing about TikTok Shop. That's based off of the bad stuff of TikTok Shop.
Of
very clearly.
of course, yeah, and like that is good because it does give them people then their chance to kind of make something of that because they're seeing a version of it. It's like, right, okay, this is what people are doing, but I don't want to do it this way. I'm going to do it my way in a way that like I believe in, and I know that's something that I've preached a lot in the last like 20 minutes, but because I do believe that content should be organic, you should stay true to yourself. Like I can give you like a good example of somebody I know, somebody I'm a good, very good friends with. I've interviewed him on the podcast before. Freeman Gaming or Freeman Fitness, he goes by, and he wouldn't really be like he would only really be selective about the things that he promotes. But he every so often he'll put up a series of with a link to creatine workout supplement, and he has turned this into a series called "I Forgot to Take My Creatine," and it's more just he'll do like put a bit of an accent on it, but it's more just like because this is something that's part of his everyday routine, taking creatine, and he has the same he uses the same one that's from TikTok Shop. So he just like posts a video of him just talking, being like, "Oh, this is day, etc." of you taking your creatine with me, and he'll just like pour it out and start talking to the camera, and I think it's good because that is him. It's in line with his content and everything. And yeah, I think it is I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. Like, there is definitely so many avenues to take, especially when it comes to TikTok shop. But I do agree with what you're saying. It's like you kind of have to sift through all of like the bad to kind of then see where like the good comes from. And yeah, but that's social media in a nutshell, really, isn't it?
It really is. Every platform has the bad actors that are using
Absolutely.
little
Um,
hacks to their advantage.
yeah. So still keep it on the same sort of line, talking about yourself here. So let's take a step outside the realm of social media. You're heavily involved with the diffraction community, especially as the co-founder. However, as a way for people to get to know you on another level, on like a more personal level, what would your hobbies and interests be outside of this space, or even just things about you that people in this space may not know about you?
It's a great question, especially since I preach creator identity and following your passions quite closely. Yeah, some of my hobbies. I love dogs. My biggest thing there is if you know me, if you've been on my streams, if you've been in Diffraction long enough and seen our community Discord server and the pet server, I have a rescue pity boxer mix that
Oh
is the
wow,
love of my life.
amazing!
Completely rescued him with my girlfriend. Um, from a kill shelter and just have given him every single day back. Taught him how to be free, taught him everything that I would teach like a human. And
Yeah,
he has like this amazing personality where he'll talk to you. He does like his morning yells. He has all like the happy mlems and stuff. But yeah, I give my all to my dog. Um, when we first adopted him, I basically took like 3 months off just to
oh
like
wow,
train him. Never trained a dog before, never trained a reactionary dog before, never done anything like that
yeah,
before. And my girlfriend and I just went head first into it. And it's paid off seeing him be able to enjoy life. We're able to walk down the street and teach others about dogs like him, where it's like, hey, no, you don't have to be afraid. Like, this is how
yeah,
Django works. Like, believe it or not, if you don't run up to him and put your hands in his mouth, he will sit for you and ask you for pets. It's
yeah.
crazy. He won't just like bark at you and like get angry. He's not a scary dog. He just loves snuggles.
That's such a
And that's
beautiful
like
thing, man.
yeah, it like a lot of times like I forget that that is like a big part of my life because you're going through life and it's like wow whatever, but we do take time to hang out with Django and kind of give him that life that he didn't have before coming to us, and it is so heartwarming to see. Like the first day that he understood how to snuggle, because we had to do like months of affection training because
Of
this dog's
course.
like never been touched before. He like didn't understand the difference between like biting your hand off and like giving you a kiss type
Yeah.
of deal. So the first time he like snuggled, we sat there for like 6 hours. We were like, "Yeah, you're good, dude. You take as much time of this as you want." We were like bawling from eyes, both
Oh
of our
man.
eyes,
Well, that's
just
a
like holding
lifetime
him.
now, though, isn't it? Like, you're sitting there for
Yeah,
6 hours, but like that's a lifetime for them, especially with what like you missed out on for all that time, and that's a beautiful thing that you've given a life back to this dog that never had one before.
Yeah, it is super special. So if you ever see him romping around TikTok headquarters, it's because all of our TikTok reps have seen him and heard through me like his toot smells so bad. So that is, I'll leave the Django story with a lot of business calls. He's just like at my feet. And there is quite a few people in this industry, top brands, TikTok reps, you name it, that have met him, but understand through being in a call with me that he has the worst smelling dog toots. Because there's been multiple times where I had to pause a meeting, like we'd have to like switch rooms, or like I would just have to like light a candle and like take a second. There's luckily only one time like I had to stop the meeting short. Um, okay, one more, because
Yeah,
I'm
of
not gonna
course.
leave my dog on like he has bad toots.
No, of
We
course,
taught
of
him
course.
we taught him the buttons, so he communicates with buttons.
Hmm.
So way back in my other office, we had like a slider door in there where you can go outside. So we put the outside button there. Um, didn't work. So I'd be in calls and he would slam that outside button like 60 times when he sees a squirrel. So the other thing that a lot of people in the industry know is I have a dog that yells outside and calls. And there was one time that I didn't have my mic muted when it was happening. Um, and it like completely threw the speaker off. And they were like, "Okay, who keeps yelling outside?" And I had the entire meeting. It was like 20 business professionals just dying laughing when I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, let me pan. It's my dog. He communicates with buttons. I'm so sorry. So ever since that meeting, we took the outside button away from my office.
I can yeah, I can understand why. But at least, everybody that you're on these calls with, like, understands, and it's become like, like a running gag, I suppose, with like all of, your business partners and colleagues and stuff, that they just know, and like it's such an endearing thing at the end, like, which is it's amazing. Like, it kind of just adds to like the wholesomeness of the entire story, with
Yeah,
Django. Like, so yeah, I love that. That is absolutely incredible.
he's working his way from the backwoods of Massachusetts all the way up to TikTok headquarters. It's pretty
See,
cool. This is what you can do when you join Diffraction.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to be just a content creator who can make waves. You can also be a rescue dog.
Um, I guess other hobbies, I do quite a bit of travel. I love traveling. I'm a foodie.
Mm.
I chef up quite a bit. So in the future, there's going to be some chef streams on Diffraction's channel where
Oh,
bring on some food people. I might cook a meal while I give out some tips. I love like the cooking metaphors as well. So have like a few resources that are going to come out probably before the end of the year
mhm.
around essentially like you have the right ingredients,
Yeah.
but your recipe is wrong.
Mm.
So kind of using cooking to kind of teach how to put those ingredients together to make something that's a little bit more elevated versus, your Kraft mac and cheese box, which you can always make. That's easy.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
so
I
yeah,
love that. Wow, that's such a great concept. Like, genuinely, like, I can't wait for that to take action, because I would definitely love to tune into that for sure.
chew into
Such
it.
a
See, look at you. You're already getting into it.
see. Yeah, gotta throw in an odd pun here and there to make it all. No, that sounds amazing. Like, honestly, like, I look forward to that. Like, and it's just it's just another way to sort of, like, bring yourself into the content. Like, and it's just sort of, uh, I mean, you could say in a way, practice what you preach, 100%. And I think that is amazing. I always say to everybody that I speak to, especially just streamers, it's like, if you're doing something, do it because, one, you want to do it, two, do it for the right reasons, and three, because it's something you believe in. Like, I know that's just, like, you could basically argue that's all, like, amalgamates into one, but like, I can never stress enough the importance of doing that. Like, because I do think, and this is why I do this, like, as a concept, is because I think it's important for when you are behind a screen talking to a lot of people, like whether it's your job or your hobby, things like that. I think it's important for people to kind of like know you on some level. So, like, okay, this is this kind of creator, but what are they like as people? Are they the same thing? Because, like, there are so many streamers I've seen. Now, maybe this is like skepticism on my part. I don't know, but like I find that you can like look at a streamer, or you can like see how they get on and think, "Are you like this as a person?" There's
Oh, yeah.
sometimes there is that like that doubt of authenticity behind the person, which if it's sort of a case of somebody is just fine tuning themselves for, okay, this is how I want to this is how I want to convey myself on camera because I'm a private person. You know what? That's totally fine. Everybody has their own sort of personal reasons behind these things. It's totally cool. But then sometimes you do find streamers who maybe are a bit like over the top eccentric, and it's like this person couldn't be like this. But again, it's incredibly much an individual thing. But yeah, like I always think it's important to kind of like give put a spin on your content that does reflect you and your own values as a person, because authenticity is the way to go, I think, personally.
Yeah, that is the strategy that we like to teach here at
Mm.
Diffraction is being authentic and creating the content that you would watch. That's something that I always bring up because people always ask like, "Hey, do you think this video is going to do well?" Or, "Hey, like, what could I be doing better in my stream?" And it always comes down to that
Yeah.
is, well, would you watch your video? The one that stuck with like 50 views. Would you watch that entire video? Maybe watch it like 2, 3 times, like some of these top videos are doing. Would you? And then back to like their live streams. Hey, would you sit around for an hour and watch your stream here with, you've said 5 words in an hour. Do you want to consume that type of content?
Yeah.
Um, or vice versa, like, hey, you're being super aggressive, my dude. Like, you don't have to do the influencer accent. Just be yourself because people see through that, And
100%.
you spoke on something that is what streaming is you don't have to put on a persona unless you're a character, unless like
Yeah.
that's a segment that you're doing, unless that's like a known community thing. You don't have to be a character. You could be a character reflecting yourself if you don't want to like talk all the way about yourself and you want to be, Ryan Reynolds, you want to put your most edited, best version of yourself out there. That's completely okay,
Yeah.
but you gotta be a human so that way the humans that are watching you can connect. And that's the important thing is like, that's why I love bringing up Django. Every time I bring up Django, all the dog people in the chat start commenting, liking the stream. And it's
Yeah.
something to connect with that. Like, if you didn't know I also had a dog, we couldn't have the conversation and connect on that deeper level. So,
Yeah.
Andy, that's a tip that you get to tell everyone every single day. Be yourself
100%.
and connect with people that are like-minded because that's what people want out of watching you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I do think it's one of the most important things as well, because I think sometimes like as viewers, like it can be forgotten or slapped on the idea that the person that you're watching is a person too. And it's like as a streamer, there are people watching you. Everybody comes from their own different backgrounds. They're all kind of, you know, together, amalgamated together into this one community, all based on a common interest. And the way I like to look at it, it's people engaging with people. Like that's sort of the when you break it down to its core, that's especially what I try to do as a streamer anyway. Like, of course, you do fine tune things just a little bit, kind of, just mainly for entertainment purposes, I guess, or unless you're like naturally entertaining, it's one of those things. Like, for me, something I like to do is just use my level of sarcasm and wit and put it into the games that I'm playing, and just sort of like, or if like there's like text dialogues coming up, like I will maybe do it in like a voice because I do voices, things like that. Just but it still is me. Might not be a part of me that everybody sees all the time, but it's sort of somewhere I can express that part of me, and it's a whole lot of fun. There's like the thing I like about content creation, especially for me, is that like there is so much creative ground to take aspects of yourself and just elevate it because it's still a part of you at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, it's also weird because you like, I don't know about you, but when I'll go through life and I'm like, oh man, that's such a funny video.
Hmm.
And then I stop myself because I'm like, wait, but who would like that? It's kind of hard to make. And like, I own a business. And for me, I have like a really good excuse. I own a business. Like, you should not see me creating like the most outlandish content out there. If you see me hitting viral TikToks right now, like, you got to ask yourself why is the co-founder of Diffraction absolutely slaughtering me in the For You page? Like, I should catch up there.
You gotta
But
lead by example, though. You
I do. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, I go through life and I'm like, oh, this would be such a funny video. And that's like the cool part of content now is those are the types of videos people want to see. Like your brainchilds, the things that like get you to start laughing and you're passionate about. People want to see like when you sit down, like what is that Roman Empire? I always talk about this, like what's your Roman Empire? Because if you get into a conversation around your Roman Empire, then you're able to like riff off of. You have stories, you have factual knowledge, you can teach other people, you can inspire community, which is like the best emotion to pull out of someone of
Yeah.
like, wait, you didn't know about this, let me tell you. You didn't know about conspiracy theories? Like, here, did you know that there's one going around that birds are actually drones? No birds are real. They're all spycraft, and you get into like this whole world of exploring your passion with people that haven't experienced it before. So
Yeah.
that's the content that people want to see, and you can totally tell that by the types of videos that do very well on TikTok.
Yeah.
You have um the person like in their car where they like just got out of the gym and they're telling you like a gym story, or they're sitting down for their morning cup of coffee and you're like, well, why is 1.5 million people liking these videos? It's because I can connect, I can
Yeah.
see you, you feel like a human, you're talking like a human. And that first 5 seconds it hit me with like, oh my gosh, I've experienced that. I know what's coming, I want to know. And then that's where the history begins.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a brilliant thing. So I have one last question for you before we wrap things up. So Diffraction as a whole, making waves across TikTok, especially with your recent expansion to the UK and EU. As the co-founder, what's your personal goal for Diffraction? How do you see things shaping up over the next 5 years, for example?
World domination.
And for those who are listening and not watching, Joe is currently staring directly into the camera. There is absolutely no humor behind what he's just said. He meant every single word of it.
No, jokes aside, constantly investing. So we're in the business to create creator opportunities and growth. So continuing to expand out Diffraction Academy, putting together some awesome partnerships to create more opportunities. I'll drop like one of the ones that we're working behind the scenes on. If you like cruising and travel, Diffraction on Seas, where you take a week off, go on a cruise ship. We're learning best practices on being a content creator, working with like a nice brand, making some vlog content, and also like enjoying a little travel excursion. But essentially just creating more opportunities like that for creators to be able to travel. One of the many reasons why we wanted to expand to the UK and also the Nordic region as this last week. So you were one of the first to hear that we're officially Diffraction Nordic as well. So those
Amazing.
regions in the Nordic region. But one of the many reasons that we're tackling, at least to start the English countries, is so that way there's collaboration efforts
Yeah.
where you're already experiencing it. You're going to have United States creators from the program on the podcast in the future, be able to collaborate with them and stuff like that. But we want to take it a step further where it's like, okay, if you're in the UK, coming out and traveling to Miami, Los Angeles, New York to the headquarters and seeing America and collaborating with creators in America and vice versa, sending the United States out to the UK, and the Nordic region, and
Yeah.
bringing people around to experience and meet new people and to get the opportunities that many aren't afforded, to see, what comes of it. But 5 years, man, 5 years is crazy.
Yeah.
So I love to create ventures, as there's new reasons to. So part of my brainchild, I'll let you know, is we want to get into real estate, creator houses,
Oh wow. Yeah.
um, live shows, where we're working with MTV and TikTok Studio already, um, as well as like large events. Like think like the current events, but a little bit larger. And they
Yeah. Yeah.
actually have things to do for creators. If I know you're in the UK, but if you look up Level 99 after this, it's basically this huge warehouse where they have like different escape rooms where you have to play a certain type of game. It might be physical, it might be mental, it might be team based, it might be, you're throwing balls at a wall.
Hmm.
But basically a whole bunch of different like challenge rooms to get creators in. But yeah, we're gonna be expanding a lot of the different types of contents that we create, a lot of the different types of opportunities that we're creating. We're working to bring advertisers to TikTok Live. We're working with TikTok to explode different types of content that have never been seen before, and always going to be remaining at the edge of strategy and content, at least in this space. So, um, next 5 years, we're not stopping. So there's not a ceiling. We might be the first agency on Mars. Who knows? Like, leave it up to Elon Musk to get us up there.
I love that. So really, your answer of world domination is pretty much, pretty much rings true. But that's fantastic. Like, I mean, I will be the first to say that I myself have learned so much about diffraction that I didn't know. I've been in diffraction officially for like a month now. I will not talk about the issues that I had before. Missing the invite and expiring, but
Don't miss your
it's
invites.
exactly, yes. For anybody who joins after this, keep an eye on your TikTok. There's like a similar to your DMs, but like you get separate notifications within your notifications for like content based things. Keep an eye on that because I missed it. But anyway, that aside, um, yeah, like that's such an incredible plan that you guys have, like so much, and there's definitely so much to look forward to, and so much as well, more importantly, for creators to get involved in and help like expand their brand as well through diffraction, like because everybody within diffraction, like I feel like should be able to take the opportunity to take on like ambassadorial roles for wherever they are in terms of their region, um like within their content. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a diffraction creator. It's so simple to just sort of, you know, even if there are people who are just in diffraction and that's like they take like the bare minimum, which there are of course with every agency, there are people who do that, but like it takes no effort to just be like, oh yeah, I'm part of an agency diffraction. This is a little bit about what we do. I can send you the link if you want. Like I've had a couple of people who have asked me about it before, and like it's something that I'm always willing to expand the wealth, share the wealth too, and everything. And it's just like and especially with the ideas of the growth, especially with the expansions, but then of course within the expansions, bringing people across region to one another, allowing that kind of network. Like I think people would be insane to want to miss out on that, to like not want to get involved in things like that. So like honestly, uh, from what you're doing now to what the plan is, like incredible. Like I say, I've learned so much, and it's been very, very insightful. And I hope for everybody listening, that this serves as like something that if you're not a part of diffraction, like then definitely look something to look into. Or if you are currently a part of diffraction, then hopefully this is like enlightening for yourselves too. If you didn't know any of this, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to continuing to be a part of this for the future, and seeing where diffraction goes. Like, yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll leave you with our mantra of rising tide lifts all boats. So what you're speaking on is very, very true. That's what we've seen in the program is as people support each other, there's insane growth as collaborators find each other, there's new content being created. And as we instill more knowledge
Yeah,
and kind of explain things and develop new strategies and creators push the boundaries, and I have to develop a new strategy based on findings. Rising tide lifts all boats. Whether you're the yacht that's sitting on the ocean or you have your little floaties because you just jumped in for the first time, everyone gets risen up by that. So, yeah, I hope that also was seen through the reasons why we're expanding.
for sure.
It's not like I'm trying to like take over the world in the sense like I need monopolization. I want every creator in here. No, we're doing it because of the opportunities that can come
Yeah,
out and the collaborations, the learning pieces. And I mean, you can attest to it. You're from the UK, but the first meetings that I had with our TikTok UK reps, it was, hey, here's all the different words that you don't say in the United States. because we're gonna start saying them to you, and you're not gonna have any clue. First meeting I got called a waffler, I was like, "That means something else over here." So, yeah, that's why we're expanding. A rising tide meets lifts all boats, and we're doing this for you guys. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
100% words to live by. Absolutely love that message. Joe, it has been phenomenal having you on. Thank you so much again for taking the time out of your busy day to come on behind the camera. It has been lovely chatting to you. So as always, I am AndyGames _94. This has been Behind the Camera with AndyGames. My guest today, the Diffraction co-founder, Joseph Sotilli. I nearly got that wrong after, after saying it before, but it has been, yep, Joe, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you again. For everybody who's been
Thank you.
watching, listening, thank you all so much for your ongoing support with Behind the Camera. It would not be made possible without all you guys. So just wanted to remind you guys of that. But until next time, guys, we will be back with another installment of Behind the Camera with AndyGames. Until then, take care, and we shall see you again soon.